or up to 3 housing applications for each tenant so that they don't have to come out of pocket for that. One of my staff is almost 100% dedicated to working with the tenants. She has gotten releases from all of them so that we can talk to the myriad providers who surround these folks, and we can talk to each other about what's the best way of moving forward. So we are helping people look for housing, we're helping people fill out applications, we will help them if they need help with moving, we will figure out what the resources are out there. We've got all of these intentions, and so I just want to say, so again, we're being thoughtful. We do know these people well. Some of the things that have been alleged about us, that we kind of came to this decision overnight, that we don't really understand the population, that we don't really care about the population, none of these is true. And I just wanted to make that point.
We're really trying to get through all of our speakers, and you'll have a chance to ask at the end to make sure we can get through all the speakers. But thanks for your patience. I appreciate it. Next we have Stacy Suniga, who is a board member, and we're very happy to have her here today. She has worked a lot in the health space in the state that I have to call out now. She's been working statewide to make sure people are vaccinated not only for COVID but for monkeypox, and we could go on a long time about what she's done for this community, but I'll stop here.
Good morning, everybody, and I apologize. I'm not sick, but I keep a cough forever. So if I cough, I'll try not to do it in this mic. But my name is Stacy Suniga. I know many of you out here, and I think you know me, especially from my stint on City Council. But I want to go back further. My first public arrangement or public outing, I guess, would be in the late 90s. I had an experience with a homeless man that really changed the trajectory of my life. And I really felt that I did some research and knew that Greeley had some needs for children, homeless children. And so I kind of gathered my community, mostly starting with the faith-based community that I was a part of, and then it expanded to the city. But we opened, together we worked and opened in 2001 a homeless shelter called Room at the Inn. And that was my first experience in housing, because we're talking about homeless, right? We have housing needs. It was very difficult. I thought we did really well, but we knew back then that we were in need of more housing, more affordable housing, so to speak. And there was just different impacts in people's lives that makes them homeless, but affordable housing wouldn't have hurt to help them get back on their feet. So I did that for about 9 years, and then I took a leave because I had 2 very sick children and decided to become caretakers to them. They're good today. Thank you very much. Higher powers. But then I got into kind of the one, you probably know me, more political action. And when I was on City Council, and I'm going to ask you, if you do know me and you knew me on City Council, what was my #1 bell that I was ringing? Affordable housing. So this has been an issue for all levels of our community for quite some time. I knew it from my history. I knew it from, I just knew it hadn't improved when I was on council, and I made that my mission, was to bring in more affordable housing. And every senior housing project that came before me, I voted yes, because I knew we needed it. I wanted to do more. I brought city staff together and connected them with state funding in the hopes that they can get something together and get something going in Greeley. Now, I only spent 2 years on council, and I'm hoping that some of those efforts have come to fruition or will come to fruition. But I'm telling you folks, as now an Adeo board member, was very honored to be asked. I was not there for the 2021. I wasn't on board yet, but I've caught myself up. I came on last year. And I can tell you that this decision for helping people get replaced in other housing simply comes from you might not believe this, it comes from a concern for the residents that are there. So as we have done our research, Sarita has said, we need to do major constructions to this building. we gave her money as a board to get professional opinions. Not that we didn't trust them, we knew they knew their buildings and their program, but it doesn't hurt to get a professional opinion about how we could coordinate or what we should do. Is there a transition coming, when they're working on those apartments? And that opinion came back is you cannot have anybody in these apartment buildings. So with that, I felt, they gave a lot of opinion, or there's been a lot of opinion about the notices that went on doors, but the effort was to give people plenty of time with the support of this staff, 7 months. You don't get that in a regular eviction, and we're not calling this an eviction, we're calling this a replacement so that we can do the repairs needed for that building. And I'm going to tell you, I believe people who are experts in the construction field, and if we keep people in that building, for me, number one, it's not ethical. You got a building that's being remodeled around you, and number two, I don't really feel that it would be that safe. So I am totally behind this idea of getting the people of Hope Apartments into safe housing so that this can happen. Because if we keep them there, we're kicking a can down the road, and it's just going to become more unsafe and maybe untenable in the future to get them into proper housing. And I'm glad there are people, as Mrs. Kitten, right, on board. I wish you were on board when I was on council, because we would have been best friends. But not that we can't be now, but this needs to happen. And I know what it takes to get you into housing. I know there's long waiting lists, there's low availability rates, but that's something we're really trying to work on here. We're really trying to improve a situation, not make it worse. And I'm going to just be blunt about this. If you're having trouble getting into another place, that's not something ADEO created. We have had a housing issue, affordable housing, people with disabilities, crisis in housing, homeless housing issue. That's why, I have talked many, many times to Jody Hartman. We worked together back in the housing field, and so I'm so proud of her for taking such big efforts to bring those things to Greeley. And the only way we're going to get this done, folks, is if we stop pointing the finger and we work together. This is a community issue. ADEO is 100% in. I'm 100% in. And we need to come together and work and maybe change some things, some directives in the city, as I think Mrs. Kitten will do. But let's come together as community and make solutions and make sure the people of Hope Apartments get the housing they deserve during this renovation. That's all I have to say. Thank you for being here.
Well, excellent words to end on, which is let's work together as a community, which is why we are all here today. And as Juliana Kitten said, there is a renewed commitment from the city with some really excellent programs going forward. What I would like to say is that next we're going to have a community leader, Jean Morel. Hopefully this is our first really big technology challenge. She's going to be here by Zoom, and I see her face, and she's going to give us a little history of how we as a community face these challenges in the past and were successful, which I think will give us renewed energy for the future. Jean Morel. Can you make the sound louder?
No way. Tell her to wait a second.
Is that loud?
Got to turn up my hearing.
You do.
We're trying to get you loud enough. Try now. Try now. Can you hear me now?
No better.
Is that better? Try again.
Can you hear me better now?
A little bit better.
we said it might be a challenge.
I did training and consulting for 5 years. I never once had a presentation that there wasn't some English, so. Can you hear me now?
Is it better now?
Why don't you
Speak very loudly like this.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, does that help?
A little bit.
Okay. Thank you. Representative Young asked me to give some history of what Hope Cassidy put together with Greeley Center for Independence. And so I have some of Hope's words directly and some things that she wrote, and then a timeline. So I'm going to go through this quickly because I only have about 5 minutes, because Representative Young is, as a former teacher, is really sticking to this. Just to let you know that Hope and her family moved here in 1975. Her parents moved shortly thereafter. East.
Other than that validates it's a good.
Is that better?
Yeah, tech, right?
So, her mother broke her hip. She ended up in a nursing home. There were some issues. And sadly, her mother had died shortly thereafter. But Hope then started a patient advocacy team, which was a nonprofit, patient-oriented agency to help those in nursing homes. They organized a wide range of activities for people who were in nursing homes. And later then the state created the nursing home ombudsman, which was very helpful. One day when Hope was in one of the nursing homes, she stopped to see a young man who was paralyzed